Hi everyone! Happy full moon in Virgo. How are you? I was so excited to come live tonight for this full moon, especially like this past hour. I was like, oh, I want to go now. But I was trying to kind of feel into the energies of the moment. It's interesting. This morning I had this really clear idea about what this full moon was and what I was going to do. And then as it got closer, I started to get in my head about it. And then I just realized I got to do it. And I feel like that's the medicine of the moment, to be honest, is to get grounded and to, when you find yourself kind of being in your head about something, to just do that thing that you're having anxiety about. I feel like Virgos are good at this. And let me just start to sage so that I can close the window while I'm talking. I forgot to bring my matches over. So, Virgo full moon. It's exciting. Oh, hi Nancy, how are you? It's an exciting moon. My dad's a Virgo, so I don't know if you have any Virgos in your life. But yeah, they're really cool people. They're earth signs, and the earth signs do tend to be the most grounded. And they've each got their own little flair, if you will. To me, Virgos are like in the middle of being, as far as intensity goes for the earth signs, because you have the Capricorns, and they're very like ambitious, driven by their work usually, and they're always usually successful in it. And they tend to be a little bit more serious, the earth signs, I think. Sometimes it depends though, what the other aspects are in their chart. And then you have Virgo, which I would like classify in the middle. And Virgos are, they can be critical. Sometimes they like to assess situations, and they're very observant. But they do have this grounded quality about them that I really, really appreciate. Like my dad, for example, like he's the person I call when I need to vent about something, because he's very good at listening. And I do feel like they're very good at listening. Well, when they want to pay attention, I mean, but they just have this presence about them. Sometimes my dad does. I'll ask him what I just said and he totally won't know. But like, it doesn't matter, because when it's a stressful situation, like I'll never forget, this is years ago, and probably a personal story, but this is always the thing I think of. Like there's a couple things I think of when I think of Virgo energy, and there's this like ability that they have to just be there for you. Like that presence is really important, and that's how they show up in this kind of grounded energy. Like I remember years ago I was having a problem at like the job I was at the time, and yeah, I called him up freaking out, and I called him as opposed to my Leo mom, who I knew her fire energy would match my Sagittarius fire energy, but he just like listened and like took it in, you know. And there's a calmness to the Virgos that I really appreciate. And like he'll be that person like who will drive me to the doctors if I'm like feeling nervous, like he did today, actually, a doctor's appointment today. And he's just like this grounded presence. And I have a really good, one of my best friends is a Virgo, and same thing, they're just like the person that you want to talk to on the phone, because they really care about how you're doing. So yeah, they can. So the only shadow side I'd say, or trait, is that they can be a little bit critical. Like they're always assessing because they're always observing, so they can be critical. But I think the medicine of it is to just be able to like laugh with them. And I definitely feel like that's the lesson of this full moon, is to bring like more laughter, and I think that's going to bring more groundedness into our life. And even at our flaws, like, you know, and to bring more acceptance. I do feel like Virgos are really accepting of who you are as a person. Like they don't, even if they're going to critique it and ask you about it, they're accepting. And that's what I love about Virgos. And then, yeah, the last earth sign is Taurus. And they're super grounded, too. And they're more of like... They're really hard workers, too. I think all the earth signs are hard workers. So they've definitely got goals, but they've just got different ways of getting about them. But, yeah, Taurus is all about creating beauty and kind of living their best life. But sometimes I do find them to be the most intense because I feel like they're the most grounded, which is a difficult position. Being grounded in the world we're living in now is really hard sometimes because it means you're present to everything. So you feel everything that's happening in this 3D space. But I do think it's actually the medicine right now. I do think it's like this Virgo moon is saying it's safe to come as you are, to meet yourself where you are in this moment. So I feel like that's where we're beginning in this full moon in Virgo. So enough of my speech. Let me actually burn this sage now and we can get started. And I think I'm going to pull 3 cards tonight. Because I am trying to keep it a little bit more simple for the full moon and new moon readings. And 3 felt good. That's when I was like thinking about it this morning. 3 is just that number of simplicity, but it doesn't skip the details because Virgo wouldn't want us to skip the details. So if you just want to take a deep breath in and take in that sage. I was like, where'd my ashtray go? It's right here. Here you go. Here's some of that for you. I'm going to sage my hands. So yeah, I'm going to pull 3 cards, and then I also have an oracle deck that gets into the herbs. And I feel like because Virgo is an earth sign, we kind of look to the earth to see if there's an herb or something that we could work with, that medicine, to kind of help us this full moon. Because I do think a lot of people are going through pandemic fatigue right now. Like, everyone. Like, I actually think it's across the board. We're all just like, oh, you know, and a little bit tired, but that's okay, you know? Again, the phrase of this full moon could be like, come as you are, like, and we have to not only do that with ourselves, but with one another. It's like really time, you know, to like meet people where they are, and to realize even in our critiques that we're all human and we're all doing the best we can, you know? So those are some of the messages I was feeling into today. So I'm going to open the circle now. So if you just want to roll your shoulders back, call your energy into present time, and I'm going to open a circle for us. Let me scoot back so you can see my wand. Okay. Here we go. I welcome in the guides and guardians of the East on this full moon in Virgo. Guides and guardians of the East, element of air, we welcome you into the circle tonight. Thank you for being here to give us clarity and show us the way forward in these challenging times we're living through. Thank you for simplifying the messages in a way that is easy for us to understand and follow through with in our everyday life. We welcome you with gratitude into the circle. Guides and guardians of the South, element of fire, thank you for being here tonight to help us continue to transform in this new era, the age of Aquarius. Thank you for being here to help us release all that no longer serves us so that we can become who we really are. We welcome you with gratitude into the circle. Guides and guardians of the West, element of water, thank you for being here tonight to provide us with flow in our life, and helping us come to understand that sometimes the only way out is through. Thank you for helping us feel our emotions and recognize them, and thank you for letting us cleanse and purify all that no longer serves us. And thank you for bringing in messages of prosperity and additional flow to our life as well. We welcome you with gratitude into the circle. And guides and guardians of the North element of Earth, tonight we celebrate you in this sign of Virgo. Thank you for being here to offer us protection and the wisdom of the earth and all its beauty, the trees. We welcome you with gratitude into the circle. I welcome all guides and guardians of love and light and nothing else. And with that, the circle is open. Amen. Blessed be, harm none. It is done, it is done, it is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. Aho. And so it is. All right. Oh, it always feels so good to open that circle. I start zoning out halfway through though, and I'm like, wait, it's just really interesting how the energy changes. The elements are so real. So anyhow, I'll pull the cards because I feel like I could talk forever this full moon, but I do want to get some cards out just to see what the cards have to say, what the messages are. Let me just take off my rings, actually. I got a new ring. Want to see? This is garnet. Garnet's a really good stone for tonight if you have it. This is like a polished version. But yeah, it's a really good gentle grounding stone. It's actually the birthstone if you're a Capricorn sign, but it's just a really good stone for grounding. So that's my new ring, and it's a sneak. Thank you. It's from the Sage Goddess. I love her jewelry. And then my malachite and azurite ring is like, I call it my priestess ring. It helps with the female reproductive system. Malachite, which is the green mineral, and then the blue, I don't know if you can see the blue, it's towards the bottom, is azurite, which is a powerful third eye stone. So I keep those near to me, but I take them off for the reading. So, all right, here we go. I'm just going to say one more quick prayer over the cards, and then I'll see what wants to come out. Dear God and Goddess, thank you for giving us messages of the highest love, light, and truth this full moon in Virgo. Thank you for giving us messages that will serve our highest good and the highest good of all in perfect time. Amen. Blessed be, harm none. It is done, it is done, it is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. Aho. And so it is. Okay. And I am just going to give them a quick shuffle. Like maybe 3 times since we're pulling 3 cards. So yeah. And then of course, as always, like if you have any questions throughout the video or anything that's on your mind, please let me know because I'd love to talk about it. I have been feeling kind of tired lately and like the pandemic fatigue, but it's so funny because as soon as like at 5 o'clock today, I was like, I'm ready to go. So it's also exciting that it's not completely dark and we're starting this reading because I feel like spring is coming. So, you know, even though we're all tired, relief is on the way. I definitely do feel that. So that's a good thing because I think we all need that. And there are signs that that is ahead. I think that, whoa, okay. Interesting. Okay. One's in reverse. Boo. But I think it wanted to come out. Okay. Wow. They kind of came out kind of fast tonight. Interesting cards. Kind of made me forget my train of thought. Alright. Of course I said I'm only going to pull 3 and already I'm like, I'm not sure. So we've got the Prince of Cups. Prince of Cups cups in the tarot represent water signs. So the sun is in Pisces. We're in Pisces season. So it could just be talking about that. But yeah, we have the Prince of Cups. We have the Justice card, but it is in reverse. And it's the goddess Athena. So we'll talk more about that. And we have the Fool, which in this deck is represented by the goddess Terra and beginnings. So really interesting. Of course, our present doesn't really seem fair, does it? I don't know. Like, I think we're all just feeling tired, and that's why that card might be in reverse. But let me break this down a little bit more. Okay, so Prince of Cups. So this is a good first card to pop out. This is an offer of love, a beginning of love. Like, I have a feeling that this is a love reading, or the beginnings reading. It's a beginning of something. And what I think I was saying before the cards popped out, which they kind of just caught my attention and lost track for a second, was that we're coming to the end of winter and the beginning of spring. And with that is bringing a big change of energy, because Mercury stationed direct pretty recently on February 20th. I almost said January 20th. No, February 20th. We're in February. So yeah, Mercury stationing direct really helped us. And from here on out, there is going to be a forward movement. At this exact moment, some things that we've been working on manifesting probably haven't shown up yet in our physical reality, but by March 20th and 21st, around the spring equinox, they will. And this is what these cards are talking about. And they're kind of giving us hints at what kind of beginnings. So the Prince of Cups is the Page of Cups in the traditional tarot. And the page always talks about a beginning, and cups always talk about our emotions. So I would say this is an offer of love, which is great, you know. And I think it's, because they're both beginnings cards, it's just like this is a relationship that's beginning. So it's the beginning stages of this offer of love. Maybe something did transpire already, but it's like there is this middle card here. So the Justice card is the card of Libra, and it's a gorgeous card, dude, but it's really beautiful. And the Justice card does talk about fair outcomes, but it is in reverse, so that could mean a couple different things. Maybe one outcome wasn't fair, but with the Fool being after it, even if there was something that wasn't fair that happened in the past, I would say that kind of gets righted by the Fool, because these are two major Arcana cards in a row. I do feel like this kind of has like a karmic feel to it, like something that happened to us that wasn't fair in some way is being righted with this new beginning in love. And it's interesting that this is right in the middle of it. But I think that unfairness is ending. And I think that the reason it's able to end is because we have come to an acceptance about it. Like, whether we think it was fair or not, we've come to accept its place in our life. And that's always an interesting lesson. I was actually just like watching a video about one of the people I listened to for astrology was kind of just like on this, I don't want to call it a rant, but he was talking a lot about the concept of acceptance. And I definitely feel like I've just been hearing it across the board as this being like a theme right now, of things that happen in our life that don't seem fair, you know, or within our control. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes things aren't fair, and sometimes they aren't in our control. But like, when we accept the fact that they happened, that releases us from them, and that allows this new beginning to come in. So I actually am not worried about the fact that it's in reverse, because sometimes even things that our negative outcomes lead to positive new beginnings, like, you know, and I really strongly feel that. So we're going to read both of those cards for sure. We might read all three, I don't know, in the guidebook, because the guidebook is really beautiful, and especially when we get major arcana cards, we'll talk a little bit about, you know, the goddess that's associated with them. I'm very familiar with the goddess Athena because my teacher's name, her actual birth name is Athena. Her dad is Greek, and he named her that. So I think it's fun that she showed up. And so the goddess Athena, to me, is about more than just justice. She's about discernment and wisdom through that discernment. And yeah, wisdom is always the word I think of for her, really. And she, if you see closely, she's a little owl on her shoulder. It's kind of hard to see in the camera. I hope you can. But he's right on her shoulder, and that's to depict that wisdom. It's almost like, to me, hidden wisdom. Owls represent that. But yeah, so we'll look at her. And Tara, I semi-familiar with, but I can't remember at the moment. So we'll definitely look at her as well and see what the guidebook has to say before I talk too much more. But yeah, definitely a new beginning of love. There's definitely an offer on the table with this card. Maybe it was already made, and it didn't come through before, you know, and we felt like it was unfair, but it was probably timing and whatever, some other external circumstances. Like, it wasn't the divine timing of it, but now it might be, you know, it might be. We might have cleared out what needed to be cleared out, so we're ready for it. So we're getting ready for this new beginning here. Okay, so let's see. I think I'm going to read Justice first. Oh, and they do give a reversed. I didn't realize they did that. This is a fairly new deck for me. So I'm going to hold it upright, even though it was in reverse, just while we read it. So this is Justice and the goddess Athena. Often depicted with an owl as a symbol of enlightenment, the Greek goddess Athena's brilliance of reason was said to be as penetrating as her clear gray eyes. Skilled without equal in the art of battle, she gave just protection to those in need of defense. And then I'll read the meanings upright and in reverse, and we'll see what resonates. So the meaning upright is the need to take a more detached viewpoint of a troublesome situation. Imagine yourself as wise as Athena. Are you being fair to yourself and those around you? The ability to defend oneself so that justice may be done. And then reversed is frustration with bureaucracies or organizations, impatience with red tape. Yeah, I mean, actually, I do feel like we're pretty impatient at this point. And we are frustrated, but I feel like, but we've accepted it. You know, maybe we're frustrated, maybe we're impatient, but we've accepted it. And that's what's ultimately going to move us through it. And I think that's a part of wisdom, is just being able to accept the good with the bad. So there you have it. Interesting. Yeah, and then she is a goddess associated with battle too. But I also feel like a lack of that, because in reverse, we're not fighting anymore. We've accepted, and that's what's allowing us to release whatever this unfair outcome was, is the acceptance. Take a drink every time I say acceptance. No, just kidding. Don't do that. Okay. So the last goddess here is Tara, and she is the Fool in traditional tarot. So let's read about her. Okay. Beginnings. Tara. Tibetans believe that the goddess Tara has the power to heal all sorrows and grant all wishes. Tara is honored as the protectress against the many fears that block men and women from living in happiness and harmony. Oh, I love that. Okay. Actually, I feel like I have to read that one more time. Terra has the power to heal all sorrows. Yay. And grant all wishes. Great. She's honored as the protectress against many fears that block men and women from living in happiness and harmony. Yeah, when you get past fear, you get past everything. Acceptance helps with that too. It's like when you accept situations, then it takes the fear out of them, essentially, to some degree. You know what I mean? It's like by accepting the fear, you kind of eliminate it. You're like, yeah, this is scary, or yeah, these are crazy times we're living in. But by kind of accepting that, you know, you're not alone in it, we're all together, which is also what this Virgo moon is kind of reassuring us. Like, we're all in this together. It takes the sting out, and it helps us move past things. And I love that it said that she relieves all sorrows. Like, she heals all sorrows and grants all wishes. So I think that's definitely going to help us move past that block. I feel like it for sure. That's actually, the Fool is an amazing card to be in our potential future, which the third card is, because what better thing could you wish for than a new beginning? And this is definitely, I think, the spring equinox. And when the next new moon is, I feel like this is when this energy will start to come in. I kind of want to know when the next new moon is. Let me see real quick. And then I'm going to pull one more card before I close the circle. And let me know if you have any questions. Let's see here. New moon. Okay, so the new moon is March 13th. So I think between now and March 13th, the next new moon, is when you can expect this new beginning to kind of come in. And it doesn't have to be love with another person, although it definitely could be. It's just an offer coming in of a new beginning that you are going to love, essentially, whether it's a person or a thing. So, yay. That's really good news. And I feel like the reason that it's coming in is because you've accepted the journey thus far. Like, you are meeting yourself and other people with where they're at. And so that's just going to bring a lot of relief and a lot of space for new things to come in. And there's definitely a lot of integration that's happening here. Because it's like that shift in perspective of realizing the need to keep going, essentially. And that accepting that something didn't work out the way you wanted to when you wanted it to work out doesn't mean ultimate defeat if you keep going. You know what I mean? And seeing where life leads you. Because there are new beginnings coming. It's not the end till it's the end. You know what I mean? It's not over till it's over. It's actually one of my favorite quotes. That makes me think about football. Weirdly, I don't watch that much football, but I know my dad will get like so discouraged if like the other team's losing, and I'm always like, it's not over till it's over. I'm like that person who believes that, you know, that touchdown could come at the last second, and everything could change. And so just keep living life. You know, it's not that you have to be anticipating everything, but if you keep living life with intention, then it will unfold, and there are new beginnings coming. So good stuff. And then we do have the World in reverse. This is a gorgeous card. I might want to look at that real quick, like from my perspective, and then it's Gaia. The World is coming full circle with something. So in reverse, it just means that we're not there yet. The circle hasn't been completed. There's still a little bit of work to be done. So it's going to depend where you're at with the whole acceptance thing. And for, like, just remember that accepting something doesn't mean you have to like it. It just means that it's a surrendering to, like, kind of something bigger than you. And I think that Virgos are really good at that. Like, my dad's really good at accepting things. I'm not. I tend to be more stubborn. And even though the earth signs are stubborn too, he's good at accepting the bigger things sometimes. And I think that that even if you get angry about something, or he gets angry about something, he's able to accept it ultimately. And yeah, there's so much medicine in that. All right, I'm going to pull one more oracle card here from the Illustrated Herbery, which is just one of my favorite books. It's gorgeous. Like, it's just, and it actually comes with these little oracle cards. And so I'm going to do that real quick, just to see if there's any additional messages that kind of tie into the tarot here that we need. Okay. Dear God and Goddess, thank you for giving us messages that will show us what we need to know, what medicine we need in order to accept circumstances in our life. Show us the perspective we need in order for these new beginnings to come in. Amen. Blessed be, harm none. It is done, it is done, it is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. Aho. And so it is. Okay. And I think I'm just going to see if anyone wants to fly out here. And if not, I'll just pick one. It's always interesting. I don't do oracle that often, but I am actually trying to do it a little bit more because I'm realizing how much it can tie in and really complement a tarot card reading. Alright, let's see. If nothing wants to fly out, I'll pick it. Clear the way, white sage. Ah, I love white sage. Wow. Clear the way, white sage. Yeah, so there's definitely a clearing that needs to happen here. Maybe that's why I always spend so much time, oh, hey girl, stuck on the water sign when I open a circle, because we are in Pisces season. Like I said, the sun's in Pisces, and Pisces is a water sign. So while the moon is in Virgo, an earth sign, the sun is in Pisces. So that's our emotions, and the element of water is all about purification and cleansing, and so is sage. Sage is the ultimate cleanser. Negativity can literally not remain if you sage and keep the window open. So I highly recommend picking up a bundle of sage. I literally just burn one little piece at a time. Like, if this is like the little bundle I'm using, I take this much and burn it. So it will last you a really long time. It's not expensive, but it's so good to do right now with COVID. Like, it's antibacterial, antimicrobial. So I literally will sniff it, and but you don't have to do that. Just burning it and kind of breathing it in general is so good for you and so good for your surrounding, because it just cleanses everything. Maybe I'll burn one more piece before we're done here. So, beautiful card, by the way. It has all the elements there, which sage really is, because it comes from the earth. When you burn it, that's air, and the act of burning it, before you blow it out, and there's smoke, there's fire. I guess the only thing is water that is not actually present in sage, but you could burn it in an abalone shell, and there's your water element right there. So it's really all things. Okay, let me read what the book has to say, and Hello. Oh, okay. Just have to find out what page it is. Oh, I saw it. Aha. White sage, clear the way. Yeah, you can see it better there. It's just like a really interesting depiction of sage. There we go. It's a little bit more traditional picture. Okay, so Salvia apiana is the Latin name for sage. So, and here's the card while I read it here. Okay. Life can be sticky. Members of the sage clan have been used in a multitude of cultures for clearing the invisible wisps of energy that cling barnacle-like to people and places. Amen. Yeah, it does. Whether you think of those energies as your own spent emotions or the leftover emanations of someone else, sage can help you make your peace and move on. Sage is sacred because it clears the way, creating a blank canvas and an open path, allowing you the opportunity to reach your full potential. Sage's appearance tells you that a block needs to be cleared, whether you can name it or not, so you can move forward. Yeah, and there is a block that needs to be cleared, so that definitely does resonate. And I think it's around our perspective, to be honest. And one other thing I want to say on that, and like people in general during this time, if you are feeling frustrated with a person for some reason, or you for some reason need to be around people who drain you, one other thing that you can do to protect your energy is to imagine like an egg like light around you. Usually it's white, but it doesn't have to be. Sometimes I make mine blue because that's always my color for protection. And on the outside of that egg, surrounding your body, like it's 12 inches perimeter surrounding your body. You just want to visualize it. On the outside of that egg is mirrors. And all the mirrors are reflecting back other people's energy to them. And so you can't absorb anything that's not yours. So that will definitely protect your energy. It also may increase your energy because you're not taking on other people's stuff. But sage is a really good way to kind of quickly get rid of it anyway. If for some reason you did pick something else up or your own energy is off, it just instantly clears that. Another thing that I just learned about as far as energy protection goes, from especially if you consider yourself an empath, which is somebody who feels other people's emotions almost like with them, which I am, by the way. So you can imagine like a zipper, like kind of zipping up your chakras before you go into a situation, just zipping each little one up. I actually just imagine a straight up zipper. And that's just like when you feel the need to not take in anything that's not yours. Another thing you can do is kind of get a mental list going in your head of who you consider to be a battery to your energy and who you consider to be a drain. And I just learned about this in the class I'm taking, but your life should be full, at least 50% full of batteries, which are people who, when you're around them, you're just laughing, you're having a great time, you feel good. And then, obviously the drains are people who make you feel the opposite. But if you can at least have half of the people in your life be batteries, you're doing a great job. And then, imagine a circle or egg of protection around you with the mirrors reflecting back energy when you need to be around the drains. Because that's not anything mean to the other person, that's just sending their own energy back to them. So, yeah, those are some tips. Let's see what they say. And then, okay, so they talk about smudging here. This will be the last thing I read. Okay. Smudging uses smoke from sage, cedar, palo santo, sweetgrass, and other culturally important plants as a blessing or way of clearing negative energy. It does for your energy field what hitting the rest button does for your computer. Oh, I love that. The ancients believed that burning released the plant's spirit, so it could assist us in keeping the air clean of emotions and emanations of illness. so true. I swear, with the illness thing, I mean, sage has kept me safe. Sage and maybe a little bit of whiskey, I'm not gonna lie. And intention and prayer and all these things I talk about, like circles of protection, they help, as well as washing your hands and, you know, doing all of that. But these things definitely help. Okay, so the ancients believed that burning released the plant spirit, so it could assist us in keeping the air clean of emotions and emanations of illness. Modern science shows that sage smoke contains volatile compounds that kill airborne bacteria, and so the ancient and modern align. So true. Even if you smudged a zillion times before, smudge regularly. You can use white sage or culinary sage, Salvia officinalis, which both Celtic and Middle Eastern cultures have used for this purpose. And then it talks about how to sage. So take either a bundle or a loose piece of sage. I would take a loose piece of sage because it is endangered. I'm actually not going to read this because I'll just tell you what to do. You literally, I'll just do it for you right now and show you that way because I think that's a lot easier. So one thing you do want to remember when you sage is to keep the windows open. I always like joke when I'm burning sage that the window has to be open, even if it's cold, because that lets the old energy out. There's really no point to sage if you don't open the window because you kind of keep that energy in, and that can make it worse. But so open the window of the room you're in is what I do. And then light a match or whatever, get your lighter and you just light the tip of it. Ready? And then I blew out mine. You can either do that or shake it off. And I always hold it over something. So, usually hold it over my cauldron here. My little cauldron. And what it's good to do is to breathe in the smoke, but also like your hands. And it seems so simple, and I let the smoke run through my fingers. Because your hands pick up so much energy. And that's why like washing them is so important too. I mean, they pick up so much. You do so much with your hands when you think about it. So it's good to just sage. And then also I sage my phone. Because your phone picks up a lot of energy too. So those are the energetic hotspots. And then when you're done, you can kind of snuff it out the way you would like a cigarette, honestly. Well, I just snuff it out with my other Palo Santo stick here. And that's that. So, yeah, sage is amazing. And it gets, like, overlooked because it's kind of common now. Like, a lot of us do it, but it's so important. Okay, so let's see. Reflection, letting go. Modern psychology teaches that we need to understand our emotions before we can release them. See, this really does tie into what I was talking to you about acceptance and the justice card that we got. So in contrast, traditional healing and shamanic practices offer release without conscious cognitive awareness. When you smudge, you're taking advantage of the latter, letting the smoke lift away whatever isn't serving your path in life. Check in with yourself. Are you willing to release without analyzing? That's so important. Because that's what I was kind of saying at the beginning of this video was like, you know, the more I analyzed what I was going to say today, the more I realized I was getting further away from what I wanted to say. It just, releasing is the opposite of analyzing. It's just letting kind of go of conscious thought, and that can be really hard to do when there's a lot going on. So doing something like saging kind of takes the work out of it for you. It just relieves you of that burden. You know that herb, that plant is literally clearing all that no longer serves you. So I definitely recommend getting some sage, actually. And then literally this is everything I was talking about before, so it's weird that we pulled this card and not weird at all at the same time. It's showing you how sage uses all the 4 elements. When I smudge, I like to use a seashell to catch ash. Me too. I mean, sometimes either that or my cauldron. This is an abalone shell. You definitely don't need one this big. You could get a little one. I was working at a metaphysical store before COVID hit called Merry Meat, and they're still open, so you can definitely get one there. That's in Skipback, PA, if you're in Pennsylvania. If you're not and you want to get one online, I'm not sure where you can get one right now, but I know they did have them at Merry Meat. But yeah, they're just a good thing to catch your sage. And then, like I said, incorporate the element of water. So when I smudge, I like to use a seashell to catch the ash and a feather as a fan. That's one thing I still need to get. That's another way to invoke the element of air, is to just with a simple feather, and you just waft the sage smoke. You just kind of blow it around. But you're incorporating that other element, and you're incorporating nature, getting back to nature. And I think it's really cool that sage came up as the herb to work with, because it's so accessible. You know what I mean? It grows in California mainly, but it's so accessible everywhere now. It is important to see if it's ethically sourced and all that, but you can definitely get that. Sage also too, Sage Goddess sells it, my teacher, so hers is definitely ethically sourced. Yeah, so what was I going to say? I keep getting distracted while I'm reading this. This allows me to represent the 4 elements in my ritual: sage, earth; feather, air; flame, fire, because when you light the sage, that's the fire; and shell, water. And then it shows you little symbols for those elements. It's all triangles. So, yeah, very cool. I love this book. So this is the Herbery, Illustrated Herbery again. So, a quick recap before we close the circle. An offer of love is coming in. Something that you will love is like what I feel like my spirit guides are saying. Like, if it's not a person, it's a thing that you'll love, that will bring you into a state of feeling loved and being loving. So that offer is coming in, whether that's a job for you or a person, it's coming in. But it's coming in when you can learn to accept all that's come to pass. And that's where I think the work is still happening. If you need help with this, burn some sage. It shifts energy. It moves it. You know what I mean? It's like, it just clears it out of the way. It really does. If you imagine like something being stuck to you, it just removes it. So I do recommend that. And if you can do it without burning sage, great. But I think sage is great to burn anyway. So, but yeah, we will be able to call in that new love when we accept all that has come to pass and meet ourselves and others where we're at and where they're at. Like, that's the perspective that needs to really happen. That's the discernment. That's the wisdom, is that, you know, everyone makes mistakes. What's happened has happened. Where do I want to go now? Who do I want to be now? And who am I willing to see for their whole self? You know, perfectly imperfect is, I think, the phrase I've been hearing a lot too associated with this full moon. This love, like, nobody is perfect, but it's like being able to see someone and accept them for all of who they are is what true love is. So that's the kind of love you want to be calling in. So that requires knowing what your deal breakers are, things like that. But more than anything, accepting all that's come to pass is going to lead you to that love. And then then the next thing I would look at is, you know, what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept, which there should definitely be some things there, you know, on both sides. And then within that, you know, realizing that nobody's perfect and being able to meet someone with where they are, because everyone has a history and a past and nobody's perfect. But, you know, are they doing the best? Are they perfect for you, even though no one's perfect? You know what I mean? And then comes in the new beginning of sorrows being healed and things that you viewed as unfair in the past becoming fair. So it's coming. I'd say give it till March 13th and March 20th, which is soon when you think about it. It is soon. It's just that we're so tired, and that's why it seems hard. So show yourself some love, because you're doing it. You're getting through this time, and you're not alone. You're not alone, even if it feels like it. And I do think that's the blessing of Facebook. I went on Facebook today and I was like, when you go on Facebook, that does create like an energetic cord. Like all the people you're connecting to creates these cords. And it could be a bad thing in some ways if you're spending a lot of time on some sort of toxic post, but it could also be really uplifting. And I was just like really uplifted today. I think people are rallying and supporting one another, and that's what we need right now. So, yeah. Meeting people where they're at. It's going to be huge. And I feel like we've done some of this work, and we're just going to be continuing it. And I'll bring that offer of love in. So I look forward to hearing about your experiences. You'll have to let me know what happens, and I'll let you know what happens in my life as well. All right, I'm going to close the circle if nobody has any questions. And thank you for staying with me for this Virgo full moon. All right. Let me release the guides and guardians here. Okay. Guides and guardians of the North, element of Earth, thank you for being here tonight to give us messages that will help provide grounding, security, and protection in our lives and help us feel safe in the moment. We release you with gratitude from our circle. Guides and guardians of the West, element of water, thank you for being here tonight to give us messages of hope and flow and cleansing and purification that we needed. We release you with gratitude from the circle. Guides and guardians of the South, element of fire, thank you for being here tonight to give us messages that will continue to allow for our further transformation. Thank you for letting us release all that no longer serves us so that this new love can come in. We appreciate you. We release you with gratitude from the circle. And guides and guardians of the East, element of air, thank you for giving us clear messages that were easy to understand. And thank you for providing us with the wind to blow in the positive changes we want to see in our life. We release you with gratitude from the circle. I release all guides and guardians of love and light. And with that, the circle is closed. Amen. Blessed be harm none. It is done, it is done, it is done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen. Aho. And so it is. All right. Well, I'm going to post this video, and I'll probably do a post too. I'm not sure, but I probably will. Just so you guys have two different ways to see it. If you need a reading, definitely let me know. If you have a friend who might need a reading, let them know. And just message me here. My readings are $30. What else? I use Venmo and Zelle, and I've been having a really good time doing them. And yeah, and if not, I'll see you for the next new moon on March 13th. And until then, take care. And thanks so much for watching. All right, love you all. Happy full moon in Virgo, everyone. Take care.